Hey, I'm Hybrid Joe, and I've transformed my physique from this to this in only 1 year of training. And in this video, I'll tell you why mixing weights and calisthenics together actually makes training more fun. Now, as you know, there are two ways to resistance train. First of all is of course bodybuilding or weightlifting, and second of all is calisthenics. There are also powerlifters, but to simplify it, I'll keep them in the same category as weightlifting. And most people choose one of the two sides because they think choosing both is impractical and inefficient. But I'm here to argue against that. I'll tell you why mixing weights and training calisthenics, or what I call hybrid training, can maintain efficiency, and at the same time it just might be more enjoyable than choosing one of the other options. A lot of people in their journey train bodybuilding at first, but they want to start calisthenics. But because of the harsh choice that people force upon them, they are forced to pick one of the sides, either bodybuilding or calisthenics. And for practical reasons, this decision might be very annoying. Bodybuilding is probably better for training for aesthetics and for isolating muscle groups, while calisthenics is better for overall bodyweight strength. And of course for doing the cool moves. So of course people are forced to make the choice between the benefits of calisthenics and the benefits of bodybuilding. And ignoring the practical reasons, a lot of people just love bodybuilding and they wouldn't like to stop training it completely just because they want to start calisthenics. But that would demotivate them from starting calisthenics in the first place. For some people, training both can just be as enjoyable. And that's the problem, you're forced to pick one of these sides. Now I'll tell you why training both can get the benefits of both sides, and at the same time you're able to make your own choice. And the first argument that people have about hybrid training is basically that you won't be able to balance them perfectly. To that I respond with yes, it's truly very hard to balance both simultaneously. Key word here, simultaneously. Doesn't mean in the long run that it's impossible to balance both. There may be some periods where you have to prioritize one over the other, but that doesn't mean you're only training one. For example, you can start doing bodybuilding, but you can also start implementing pull-ups and dips and the calisthenics basics. And while training bodybuilding, you can also just dedicate a day of training to train the progressions of your next calisthenics skill. And at the same time, you can do pull-ups, dips, or push-ups to get used to training with your own body weight. And this is, for example, if you want to focus on hypertrophy. But if your goal right now is to focus on calisthenics, you can still train calisthenics but keep some exercises that are missing in calisthenics. For example, calisthenics can't hit every muscle group as well as bodybuilding can. For example, the side delts. Now, if I told you to name me one calisthenics exercise that trains purely the side delts, you wouldn't be able to. For example, while you're prioritizing calisthenics, you can pick up a dumbbell and do lateral raises. Not like you're drinking poison, it won't really hinder your progress. And the side delts are arguably one of the most important muscle groups for building an aesthetic physique. So doing this won't really hinder your progress, but it will help you build a more aesthetic physique at the same time. And for example, there are other muscle groups that aren't isolated as well in calisthenics. If you want to train for aesthetics, proportions is very important. So having the freedom to isolate your weak points is very nice. For example, if you want to isolate biceps, you can add bicep curls. Some calisthenics athletes actually also train with weights. For example, there are some calisthenics athletes that use weights to train for specific skills like the planche. And this proves that some of the strength built by bodybuilding correlates to calisthenics. Of course, you're maintaining a base of training calisthenics and bodyweight skills, but you're adding on some bodybuilding exercises that will help keep the benefits of both worlds. And it won't really hinder your progress much. And of course, if you want to focus purely on calisthenics, then it's your choice. I'm not telling you that hybrid training is the best way to train. Objectively, there is no best way to train for everyone. Everyone has their own specific way of training, and I respect that. But if you're put in a position like me, if you like both bodybuilding and calisthenics, I'd suggest giving hybrid training a go. And in my opinion, it's probably the most enjoyable training method for me because it helps me keep my freedom of choice and I'm able to train whatever I want. So you can try this out for yourself and see if you have the same experience that I have. I find it very enjoyable, and I find it actually the most enjoyable way to train. I hope this video helps. Good luck and enjoy.